This is season 2, episode 2 of the Mental Notes podcast. And today we have with us a very special friend of mine.
Memory and sitting on the back of the bus
Wow.
with my uncle going through Europe and then coming out of Victoria Station.
I'm very, very, very cognizant of mental health because of my own battles that I've been through.
He just saw something that he was just like, no, like I'm gonna take a chance on this young.
My name is Manny DeJourna. I am the founder of Mentality. Mentality is a platform designed for men and women, but more specifically for men, to help us become better pillars of society. We do this through our media arm, our events arm, our services, and our community arms. In essence, creating a tribe and an environment where we men can support each other, learn from each other, grow with each other, and become, as I said, better pillars of society moving forward across all the interactions that we have in life. This is season 2, episode 2 of the Mental Notes podcast. And today we have with us a very special friend of mine, someone who I've known for many, many years here in Dubai, somebody who I've chopped it up with, who I've had conversations with, somebody who has quietly inspired me about the way he goes about his business and getting stuff done. And at the same time, probably one of the most humble people you'll meet in the scene, in the community scene that we have in Dubai. Knows everyone, talks to everyone, friendly with everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yuri Ichtchouk.
Yeah, you pronounced it right as well.
I've been working on that,
yeah,
you know.
Ichtchouk, yeah,
I've
cool.
been working on that.
You're close.
Yeah.
But
Where's the name from, by the way?
Ukraine.
Ukraine, okay.
Yeah.
So, secret thing, a lot of people don't know I spent a bit of time in Romania.
Okay.
So the name, that kind of Slavic nature is, you know, something that I've been picking up on. So yeah, that's where the pronunciation comes from.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So listen, let's talk. Who are you? Who's Mr. Yuri? Who's Mr. Cool Kid, as the rest of us know you?
Yeah, soon that Insta name's gonna go. I'm getting too old for the kid.
Hold
in
on
the
to
name,
it, man.
Bro. But
Cool.
yeah, but it's in my heart, so I'm holding on to it. I'm fighting it. Yeah, bro. Firstly, thank you for having me.
It's a
Really
pleasure.
appreciate that introduction. That means a lot to me. I'm just kind of glad to be here with you, bro. And just we have so many of these conversations and have had so many of these conversations privately.
Yeah.
It's just nice to kind of sometimes just platform it. So, bro, again, just thanks for having me.
Appreciate
man,
you for
appreciate
pulling
it.
up, man.
Bro, I'm born in Ukraine, moved to London when I was 6, immigrated with my mom, and kind of just been on a journey ever since. From a young man to now, just where we sit here in Dubai, brother. Honestly, in the simplest form, I'm just human. I'm
hear
just
that.
human.
I
you
hear
know?
that.
Same challenges, same struggles, same pains, same emotions as everyone else, bro.
hear that.
I think that's who I am, bro. Like, just trying to be more aligned to just that human experience now.
Yeah,
If you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said something else probably. But yeah,
as we all would, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's part of the legacy of growing up, is going through different iterations of experience and actually understanding that each experience is there to build you as a foundation for the next level, and then so on and so on and so forth. Well, one day we're not going to be looking forward and building forward. We're going to be looking back and trying to build for the generations backwards.
True.
So no, I love that. But I want to unpack each stage and each level of what you've actually said. And you said you were born in Ukraine. When did you leave Ukraine?
When I was 6, 5, turning 6. So I was really young.
Early memories, though.
Early memories, definitely. It's crazy that I still remember so many. I remember being around like 3 years old and my granddad climbing up this like ladder in the attic to pull out this car that then he pushed me around and in the house we have there. I remember like some of the Christmases and the birthdays and the family gatherings. I remember walking the dog that we used to have that was a puppy like down the street. You know, like I still remember the bus stop where my dad dropped me off with my uncle that I took, that then eventually went to London.
Wow.
Like, I still remember that memory and sitting on the back of the bus with my uncle going through Europe and then coming out of Victoria Station and me agreeing with my mom, bro. Like, I was 5. Like,
crazy memories.
I still remember some of
Have you been back?
those. Yeah, I went back mostly before the conflict.
Yeah,
I was going back every summer.
yeah.
Big family there. Big family, still, still connected.
Mm,
Luckily, so some of the older generation are still alive as well, which is great. So it was nice
excellent.
going back. Summers there are beautiful. Like the city I'm from is called Lvov.
Okay.
Some people say Lviv.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the western part of Ukraine,
Mm-hmm.
but it's known to be like Little Europe. Like that's its kind of
Okay.
connotation. So it's got a
Okay.
really old school architecture, pebble streets
Beautiful.
vibe to it, like a little Croatia style. That's
Beautiful.
got that essence to it, with a mix of like modern Europe. It's becoming like an IT hub
Mm.
and so forth. So it's got that European nature to it. So bro, summers there were like London summers. Like it was beautiful, rooftop
Mm.
vibes, and just it was just good energy. But obviously, just because of the conflict, I
I
haven't been
understand
back.
that.
Yeah,
I understand that. And in terms of, and we'll touch on the conflict and the impact that's had
yeah,
at some point, but in terms of early memory, so now, I guess before we go into London, um, I also left Ghana when I was born in Ghana. I
okay.
also left Ghana when I was 6.5. And so the whole kind of memory kaleidoscope that exists in my head. Sometimes I'll sit with my mum and I'll talk her through stuff because my mum left me when I was 2.
Okay.
So I lived with my grandma. I grew up with
Okay.
my grandma. And I'll talk to my mum and I'd come up with stuff and she's like, wait, what?
You remember?
How? What?
Yeah.
But I vividly could paint you pictures. I could walk you down roads. I could tell you stories. I could take you back to conversations that were had at the ages of like 2 and 3 and 4, like all to the point where I remember going back to Accra in my 20s and actually taking my aunt because she wanted to test me. I was like, I can remember. Oh no way. Let me show you. And we went back to the area that we used to live in. And I took her by the hand and we walked the streets back to where the house was, back to where my nursery was.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, I remember this. And she's like, how? How is it possible for you to remember 20 plus years down the line, 16, 17 years after never visiting there? How can you remember? So I'm a big believer in that, man. But these are the things that are imprinted in us, right? These are the memories that carry us through. They like, imagine you're talking about walking the puppy and your granddad and like,
Bro, same as you. I remember all the roads.
yeah.
So when I went back for the first time, moving to England, I went back, I think, 12, 13 years later for the
Yeah.
first time. So I was on, I think, I can't remember now. But it was the same, literally the same thing. I
Yeah.
remembered all the roads. I remembered our house. I remembered how to get here.
Yeah.
I took like, my mom was in the same position. She's like, how do you even remember this?
Mm.
Same conversations, like the adults around us at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember all the adult
Everything.
conversations they were having. And it's just carried through. So
That's incredible.
so
Man.
that's the power of the mind, though. That's the
Absolutely.
power of the mind. And as kids, we absorb and sponge so much.
Mhm.
Things that then we hold back, things that are relatable, some things that are not relatable
Yeah.
at the time, but come back later.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just God's work. That
It
we've been
definitely
created
God's
in
work.
that way,
Definitely.
that we have that ability to unlock things that are within us. And that goes to many other things as well.
This is why, digressing a little bit, but this is why I'm also very cognizant with my boys now to create moments, because I know those moments are going to be imprinted on them. And no matter how young they are now, I mean, one's 3.5, one's 19 months, but I know in 20, 30 years time, those moments are going to come back.
100%.
Right? So trying to create moments of joy, of happiness, of wellness, of thoughtfulness, of togetherness, so that later on when they're reflecting and when those imprinted moments are coming back, it's just natural recall for them, you know what I mean? But talk about London. So you've arrived in Victoria Station. For those that know Victoria Station, we know as one of those landmarks that's been there for a while. Talk what was that like?
It was I think I'm grateful that it happened at such a young age. Like, so a little similar to you. My mum left when I was like 4. So then I was without her for about just over a year. Then I came because she left before I did. And I think I'm grateful now that I was so young, because then the change wasn't as drastic or as impactful. But early memory, I definitely was I really remember growing up because it was single mom, multiple jobs.
Wow.
One thing that and maybe you'll share a similar experience, but my mom didn't know English. My mom didn't really like didn't go university. She didn't know anyone in London. So when she went there a year and a bit earlier, that she just landed.
Yeah.
There was no internet,
No.
iPhone, what, like you couldn't look up Google Translate.
No.
Like you didn't have that.
You
No
make it work.
LinkedIn to find a job.
Yeah.
You're in the newspapers. So when I spoke to her and got older about her journey, it was like she landed the same way and just whether she went left, right, forward, back, like she didn't know where she was going. She just figured it out.
Yeah.
So that story of hers personally, like, is always just remained with me.
I hear that.
Because we've got so much access to so much help, so a little bit like if you've come to Dubai, when we've moved to Dubai, we either moved for a job or we already knew people or we had the access to connect with people and other groups and expats, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can go on. Back then, it was none of that.
Nothing.
So growing up on that, like she was working multiple jobs. So that was my first early years of London experience as a kid. Like I didn't go to school when I first landed for I think 2-3 months.
Right.
Because it was so late on. I came around April. So it was towards the end of the
So
school
you
year
saw out the
and
school
stuff.
year,
So I had to wait till September and stuff. But I only started school in year 4.
Wow.
So I started school late.
Skip the early parts.
Like
No friends,
like early years. I skipped it. And we moved a lot. So I remember my first school was in Fulham because it was close to where my mom was working. And back then, it was easier to put your kid in a school in a different area code where you weren't living. Now I know it's a little bit more restricted. Then I went to another school in Leighton, then Leytonstone, then Upton Park, bro. So I jumped so many schools. My early years, I didn't really even connect with like remembering any friends. I have vivid memories of some people that I met. But the one thing that always, whatever school I landed in, that held me together, I could play ball. So as soon as lunch, like I was that kid who didn't know English.
Yeah, but
you know
can,
what I mean?
You can,
I could kick ball. So I'd land in a school and then would struggle to like talk to people or get engaged in the classes. Bro, my early years, they used to call me Euro because they didn't really understand the name Yuri back then. So I've got a textbook, like a book from class that actually has Euro, like EURO.
No way.
Because the teacher didn't really even like acknowledge at the time like Yuri. Now when I deep it, your name is so powerful. Your name is you. So now when I deeper and look back at that, it's like, wow, like you didn't acknowledge me even like being
you diluted your
fully.
existence.
Yeah, like because you did, like it starts with your name and your presence. And if you got my name wrong, everyone else got my name wrong. So it's like, so you didn't really see me, So I was, and because English at the time was obviously a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
But I learned it on TV and cartoons, and I had like extra like teacher assistant. So that was the early years, and it was, to be honest, one of the things I think just nice to document, and just even in this conversation is, bro, like it was 5 a.m. wake ups, 9 p.m. getting home, like because my mom was working multiple jobs, so I was leaving early with her on the Hammersmith and City or District line all the way to West London from East at times. Go to her workplace. She'll take a break, drop me school. On her break, then later in the afternoon, pick me up. I'd be there playing with Lego
while
or doing
she's working.
homework. She's still working. Then after her second job, we'd go there. She used to do a lot of private cleaning jobs. We used to go to these yards in Chelsea and London and stuff that were beautiful houses. Yeah. And we're just like this, we're just this immigrant family, like just figuring it out. Right? And mom's working 2-3 jobs, taking 2-3 cleaning work extra.
I've been there, bro.
And you're just there, like I remember helping my mom hoover some of these
bro. I was waiting for you to land.
Like, I'm there helping my mom hoover at like 8-9 years old, bro. And I remember for some of the jobs, like for the whole apartment for the house getting clean, my mom was only getting like 25 to 40 pound, bro. Like, so when I look back at that and deep it and just think about that whole experience, it's never gone away, and it really like sits there as the shape of those early years, the moving, the extra work, like just that whole experience. Yeah. So yeah, those are the early years.
But this is why I've always, and it's funny because any time you'll hear me speak about my mum, you'll always hear one sentence come out, which is my mum's my superhero. Like she's and don't get me wrong, I had a stepdad around at a point, right? But my mum worked 4 jobs to make things work. My dad was working, stepdad. Um, um, but I remember watching my mum raise 3 kids, eventually 3 kids, study, still do a whole range of jobs now. Like, it's just like, how? Like there was one occasion where I remember her going to, at the time she was doing an access to law course. So going to college, had no babysitter for my brother because he didn't want to go to the nursery because he'd had a bad experience the week before. And she's running around with him and me, and then trying to make it work between that and getting to study as well. And then from that, work, and then come back to study, and then go and work again. Just to, like, it was mad. I remember watching my mum, and I'm like, this woman is doing the most. But I found out later on in life that same work ethic is what drives me, and it's because that's what I'm used to seeing. It's what I've been there. I've been hoovering in the offices and in the houses in Soho and Chelsea. I've been there from, same as you, 8, 9. I've seen it. So I get now, because we've never actually spoken about this part together, but I get now why your work ethic is the way it is, and it's because the graft has been instilled in you from young.
You know what's crazy? Like, I completely forgot this memory. I remember going to English lessons with my mum because she was doing the same thing, bro. She was studying, taking these courses, sitting in these classrooms. Like that whole process. Yeah, it's that in itself is a 2 to 3 hour conversation to really unpack. And you know what would be amazing, bro? One day get your mum on here.
Bro, I would love to.
It's one of my dreams. And unpack that journey, because not just me and you, bro, a lot of people have seen that in their parents, and especially if we've grown up in diverse environments and parents are first generation, even sometimes second generation immigrants, bro. Like,
they went through some.
You see that graft, that foundation building. So it's powerful. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about moving around so much, though, man. You mentioned like moving around and it being challenging sometimes to build a friend circle or a community. Like, what kind of impact did that have on you, though? Because when I see you today, and when I spend time with you, and when I observe us in various different settings, be it football or out and about socially, like, your ability to make friends is very fluid. It's very easy. Like, you speak to a lot of different people, variety of people, and it doesn't seem to me, at least anyway, that the difficulties of making friends at a young age has kind of flowed through to your adulthood.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting that you put it that way, Manny. I always struggle to just sometimes take a step back and take, that bird's eye view of it. But young days was hard. I think language barrier was an issue.
Yeah.
Not feeling like, as kids, like, he's wearing certain shoes, or he's got certain shoes at football, or he brought a nice football to play with. Like, my one's a little, like, you know what I mean? Oh, I got that like plasticky floater thing. He's got a bit of a miter. Like, So I feel like as kids, our perception of what kids had or what kids were wearing, or like, like that was sometimes the blocker. And but I think language barrier was the number one for me. Like, it was just now when I speak English, people know that I'm not English, but I don't have that
You're
strong
native enough.
Eastern European accent, you know. So that's gone away. But I think it's just that nervousness, that lack of confidence in the beginning. And I think because we moved so much, sometimes 3 months here, 6 months there, another 3 months, it like you didn't make enough of an impact to then stay in touch. And back then we didn't have the devices like we do to even be on Facebook or Instagram or wherever to then stay connected with those kids. It was phone books. You know what I'm saying? So even like when you look back at it now, we didn't really comprehend. You'd just knock for someone, and because you knew they lived close, and you guys just went to the park and played football together. So yes, I met kids, and I still remember certain faces and certain experiences from young, but I just think it's just the moving. It was really difficult. But obviously, as I got older and found a bit more stability, and finally, I think when I went to secondary school is really when I finally like locked in and started to like find my group and find my friends. And tap into, and those are friends I'm still in contact with.
Yeah.
We still chat and we still just follow each other's
Talk to me
journey.
about that a bit, man. Talk to me
Yeah.
about secondary school, man. What was that experience like? Now you're a bit more stable.
Yeah.
Now you're finding it. Like, what? If I remember secondary school, right? Yeah, there were different groups and cohorts of people.
Where did you go? Where were you?
So I was in South London.
Okay.
So I went to a school called St. Mary's in South London.
Okay. Where's that? Where area? in London?
Croydon.
Croydon. Okay.
So we had the cohorts.
That's
I leave it out, bro.
Anyway.
It's the most pinnacle of South London. Like London should have a capital city.
I don't know, bro.
In Croydon.
I feel like the Brixton Peckham lot will disagree with Croydon
Listen,
being south. But anyway, that's a separate
They're
chat.
gentrified now. They can't talk to us.
East is gentrified. So that's crazy. Anyway.
But my point being is, I clearly distinctly remember there were different cohorts of people. So you used to have the guys who used to be into like a certain kind of music would be over there. Then you used to have the French-speaking Africans would be over here. I'm talking like the Cameroonians and they'll be over here. Senegalese, they'll be over here. Then you'd have the Jamaican cohort, who were the in my school anyway. They were the ones that used to ruffle a few feathers. Okay. They'd be here, right? Then you'd have, excuse me for it, but the white kids, the ones whose parents wanted them to behave and over here. But my school was. When I went to St. Mary's, it was at the time one of the better Catholic schools in the kind of council. It didn't stay that way for very long, but my point is, like, you had to really pick your group to know where you belonged, and it wasn't like you could bounce around different groups. So, what was your tribe?
Interesting. I went to a school in East London, so it was called Stratford School.
Okay.
So crazy. At the time, it was like we were known in East for like the purple blazers and stuff.
Oh gosh.
So back then, it was embarrassing. Like we kind of like everyone knows it. But now when I think about it, we could have actually made that work differently. Where I went to school, it was a very diverse area. That's one. Obviously, East is East, but it was the majority of the ethnic breakdown was Asian. So I'd say like 85 to 90% of the school
in Stratford.
Well, the school specifically was kind of Upton Park.
Okay.
Forest Gate. Sorry.
Okay.
Forest Gate. It was like between Forest Gate, Upton Park, near West Ham Park.
Well, I know the area.
Because there's actually football pitches there.
I know the area.
Played Sunday League anyway. And they got a sand pitch. If some people know that. Anyway, that was crazy. I remember playing on that. That was nuts. Anyway, so majority was an Asian demographic, and that was a mix of like Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, like that was the majority mix, and then the remaining 10-15% was a mix of anyone of white, Caucasian, like Afro-Caribbean, South American, so whatever other groups were kind of the remaining thing. And so obviously naturally a lot of those like kids from the majority group, they all kind of, their parents or they were somehow cousin, like, so a lot of them like were already like together or have known each other even before secondary school. Whereas like kind of everyone else, though everyone was cool with them, everyone was cool like together and playing football, whatever, everyone kind of just naturally at that time kind of had a split.
Right.
So a lot of the friends I grew up with were like Afro-Caribbean or like South Americans. So some like my earliest closest friends from school, like Ecuadorian, Nigerian, Ghana, like, you know what I'm saying, Jamaica. Like it was just a mix of that. And it was just, it was an interesting experience, but it was also like a very early exposure to a whole different like culture in terms of like just the Asian demographic. Like obviously like the prominence of like the mix between the kids that were Muslim or Hindu, and you see that how the school really like put effort into like things when it was Ramadan or like Diwali. Like you saw that school being really invested in comparison to when remember like earlier primary going to a Catholic school. There was none of that.
None
Like
of
it was
that,
very different. So very quickly within a year or two, I saw a very like huge gulf in difference in terms of how two schools
Yeah.
did things in their education system purely because of the demographic of the kids. So we didn't really have it like clicky. It just kind of naturally
Split
just kind of
by nature of,
split by
yeah.
nature. But lunchtime, everyone's playing football together. And then a lot of the time, I actually remember it was just like a lot of people who were of a like Asian demographic were playing then against everyone else who kind of like was, you know what I'm saying? It was like almost world team. Like you used to have that on pro, I think. Like
when you
team
could
of the
create,
world or whatever. Anyway, but it was kind of that. And those were those were lunchtimes. And at lunchtime, it all just kind of came together. So we didn't really, it wasn't really split that heavy where you had it more like
mine was eclectic.
yeah,
very, very
clicky,
eclectic.
yeah.
With that being said, football seems to be the common galvanizer. I think for both of us actually, for you and I. But speaking about your kind of solo experience, football was a galvanizer. When did you realize that, listen, I can kick ball? Because I think that's where it all starts, right? We all play, we all have fun, and then at some point the light switches on. I was like, actually, I can do this thing.
My first school in Fulham, when I joined, I was 7. I remember that lunchtime. I still remember that lunchtime playing with some of the kids that I met. I remember even and then even going in and like as we were finished and the lunch break ended, like some of the kids were like, "Oh, what's your name? What's your name? What's your," you know, like I remember from there to then a year later living in Leytonstone and playing in the park close by to the house there, and we had like a little pitch there. And I still remember I used like playing, and every time I used to score goals, I used to just walk away. Like I wouldn't celebrate. I had this thing. I still remember. I was like 8, 9, and when I scored goals, I just walk away, put my head down, and just walk away. Because to me, even from young, it was normal. Like I already had that in my head from early. So it was from there, bro. Like I just knew from there that like I can do something with a ball. I didn't realize how powerful that ball is. And it's just, I think the other week I saw an interview from Arteta. I don't know if you've seen this, talking about like, just look at this round object.
Yeah.
Like, forget about everything. Just look at this round object.
Yeah.
This round object has changed and
lives.
continues to change lives.
Yeah.
It brings countries together. It upsets countries. It brings a household together. It upsets a household. It makes a kid's dream come true, and it can also destroy. You know, like this. It's a ball, bro. It's a round.
Is it just a ball though?
No, but it's not, right? But I think that's the power behind the object. Is you can look at it, and some people who don't get football say, or even other sports, right? Basketball, American football, like whatever your sport is. You look at that item, and everyone galvanizes around that thing, but the impact of that thing. And so yes, from early it was noticed. I knew it had something, and what I just knew consistently, it just brought me to people that were like-minded, who loved that thing the same way I did, and that was just a natural connector from the jump. And you know it, like if you're a baller and you can play, you know, then sometimes you didn't even have to speak the same language as a player. Like when you've gone park or cages or whatever, and you just played, you sometimes didn't know a person's name, or you didn't know, or they were older than you, younger than you. But sometimes you just clicked because of the way you played, and that started from an early age. So it was just always the thing that saved me.
Love that, man. I've had many a game, many a cage ball, many a park ball, many a jumpers for goalpost, where I've not learnt nobody's name, but just on that pitch, some reason, when you're playing with a bunch of boys, you connect somehow. You learn to communicate somehow. It's in the body language. It's in the little shouts. It's in the man-ons and the through ball and all these things, and diags and the little communication pieces. I think those things connect us. So football then becomes a thing that kind of carries you. It's your joy bringer, right? It's your communal connector. What then happens? Like, why was that not the path?
Yeah, it's like I had a negative experience when I was young, which didn't stop me, but created a negative impression in my mum at the
Oh, I
time.
see.
So I
Okay.
remember when I was, I think, like 8, 9, playing football.
Mhm.
My mum never came to the park with me. Like, and a little similar to even that upbringing. Like, there
Mhm.
were times like I'd be left at home alone and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
just that's just the way
It's
we
normal.
grew up. It was normal, and you fended for yourself. Like, you knew what to do. But I remember this one time my mom decided to come to the park with me, and like I played football.
Mm.
And I can't remember the incident, but whatever that little argument happened on the pitch, what one of the kids that was in the argument over, we probably arguing over a foul or whatever,
Yeah.
he put out like, bro, now when I think about it, it was like probably a little pocket knife. Like it wasn't even
Oh,
a
word.
thing, right? But the kid pulled out like a little knife. And I think ever since that, my mom had this like negative, like bro, for like a year after that, she wouldn't let me go park
yeah.
anymore. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I had to like, I'll be like, mom, nah, don't worry about that. That was nothing.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I had to convince her. And then when I would come across like finding teams or like hear from people in school, there's a team that you could go training on
Yeah.
Saturday and because my mom was working and stuff,
was
like it was
difficult.
difficult, and then she had this negative impression.
Yeah.
Oh, what if something happens? You know, and you know, London back, like even now, it still has prevalent issues, but then obviously parents are hearing things. So
And as a single parent as
yeah,
well.
you know, like, and obviously like my stepdad then came into my life a little
Yeah.
bit around after that, but he like he's not a football man, so like he didn't have that drive to then
Yeah.
even kind of support or push me on
Right.
that, and he supported in other ways, but not on a football passion thing. So it took time. So it was only when I got into school and older that I could again play for the team, school team, try different teams and stuff. But I'm not the tallest, and like my position was always kind of in the middle. So then I had to kind of like swing out to playing left back, being left footed, in and out of teams. And obviously, as we're going through that growth spurt in like in our teenage years, like I wasn't the tallest. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I wasn't like focused on like building muscle or
Yeah.
like getting strong. Like we didn't have the access to training
I got
the
you.
way a lot of young players have now, or the way young players are developing now. So it was just different.
I see it.
So it just didn't
see it.
lead that way, you
I
know.
see it.
And that was okay. Like I was okay with that. But playing in and around some teams, some semi-pro teams and whatever. And then when I got to about 16, 17, going to college, my first year of college, I was still very like football focused, playing like with the college team and trying to play and stuff. But I didn't really deep like football careers, what could happen, what could be. And after that first year of college, which I didn't do very well, and I was disappointed in myself, and then like I just didn't enjoy any of the subjects I chose, I started again. And I got a job. The job, and I remember getting into a semi-pro team at the time. I got like there was trials during that summer, and I said to myself, okay, this summer, like if I don't like play some form of
Yeah.
football, like I have to stop. So I remember that summer I got into a team in I think it was Newham, like during their trials, and they put me into one of their preseason games with the first team. Bro, like I'm 17. Men's, I think like I don't know what level they are now or what they were like.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But
Like,
still semi-pro,
but it
semi-pro.
was a semi-pro team, men's football, and the coach has seen me in the trial and thought, oh, like this kid's got
Let's see
something.
what
So
he's
he's like, oh, like Yuri, like I want you to come on Saturday. But I remember walking into the changing room, bro, it's just men. Bro, I'd never been in that environment. So, and I remember the manager put me on for like last 10 minutes. Bro, I struggled. Because like, bro, the ball felt harder, like the pace, you know what I mean? Like everything was just different.
Yeah.
And then went to another trial, got into a team, and they were like, cool, our training is every Saturday and this and this. But then I was like, I can't rely on mum for money.
Not at all.
So I'm
Gotta
going
work.
into now college, I'm starting again, needed money, and as you know, we could have all been exposed to other ways.
Of
Like, and
course.
there's so many things flowing around, seeing people get that money, and people getting money, like people doing stuff, like whatever they were doing. And I just never Like I just never had the heart to be in any of those spaces, though it was in and around. And just because of that upbringing and seeing the way mum grafted and stuff and seeing stories where it went left for some people and didn't turn out the way they wanted it as well, I was like, I couldn't bring myself to be in that situation. So I was just like, I got a job, I had to work, make money, went to college, and that just became my focus. And to be honest, that year really set the foundation that changed my life to go into the career and the studies, and I think who I am today, because that first year of college was horrible. Like was terrible. When I decided to restart, I had to just basically go to do my A levels again with the year that came that was below me. Like, but I had to make that conscious decision to do that because I was like, I'm not going to continue the studies of what I chose. Don't want to do that. And I just learned in that 1 year of other things and subjects like economics and law and things that history that were more appealing to me because those were the things I even enjoyed in my free time reading during my school years. I enjoyed history. I enjoyed learning things about the world, philosophy, like, and I realized I had these deep passions for things of an educational nature, but I just was so homed in on just playing football, playing with my friends, going to the park. I didn't shape myself, you know, and that year then kind of helped unlock everything else, I think.
So why healthcare then? Like after all of that, you land in healthcare. Well, why healthcare?
I knew from, again, just reading and tapping into philosophy and just the things that I was exposing myself to. Now when I look back at it, I see the patterns. Back then, I didn't see the patterns. I think my mind saw the patterns that then helped me find influence of what I enjoyed. And I realized very early on, like, I wanted to do something that helped the world. I wanted to do something that helped people. And I wanted to do something that had a form of meaning behind it. So that was one, but I didn't know what that was. And then when I got to uni, after my first job was in a hotel doing events, weddings, like conferences, tea, coffee, serving food, washing dishes, like carrying the rubbish out of hotel, portering up like requests, like different experience in Ealing Broadway. Like anyway, so I used to travel from east to west and work. Sometimes I left college, went straight to work on a Friday afternoon, would pull a shift till like 3 a.m. right? Stay in the hotel, work like long shift Saturday, stay in the hotel, work Sunday morning early shift, and only come back Sunday afternoon, chill, rest, catch up on A-level work, go back to college Monday morning. Bro, I did that for a whole year while I was in my second year of college.
Why was that? Because of the money aspect, or
just I wanted to make money, and I just like
to be independent.
To be independent, to buy things, to be able to like just do things for myself. Because growing up in a household where money wasn't like flowing, and there'd be things that you wanted, and be like, oh, I can't have that, I can't get that. Like there'll be certain things you want with your eyes that you don't realize at the time the value of them. So I was in that era. I wanted stuff, you know, so I wanted to be able to have the power to purchase it myself. Healthcare then, because that job didn't pay well, and I was like, I can't do these hours if I go to uni. So my mom was working in a hospital, and she said, look, like, why don't you just go on the website, have a look at what's available? And I came across like a porter job in a hospital. Tell no lies, I saw the job. I just showed up at the hospital. I found the manager's name. I asked for him at reception. He's from Cape Verde. It's like coolest, like one of the coolest people I've ever met. Like, I used to be a baller in his young days and stuff. Like, very cool guy. Anyway, so I met him, and then he kind of walked into reception. Like, they're like, "Oh, he's for you," and he's looking at me like, "I don't know this kid. Like, who's this?" I introduced myself. I said, "Saw this online." Like, I want the job. I genuinely did that. And he just looked at me, laughed. I said, come into my office. So we sat down, he had a chat with me. Very, like, honestly, one like the coolest people I met in my life, man. And he said, okay, come back on Monday, we'll have a proper interview. Came back on Monday, bro. I started on Friday. the following
What a
Friday. It
story.
was crazy.
What a story.
And that was my first job in healthcare. I worked as a porter, bro. I used to deliver bloods, collect bloods, pharmacy deliveries, collect bloods, move the rubbish out of the hospital, bro. Like, I was madness. I've carried dead bodies out of the
Humble beginnings,
hospital,
man.
So I've seen just that first introduction into how the foundations of healthcare and hospitals worked. I found it fascinating, and it paid well, and it suited my weekend hours. And then just by being there, connecting with people, networking, upskilling, going through university, I got into then like more administrative work, working with finance, then working in different departments around hospitals. So I've worked in emergency theaters. I've been in a theater and seen like it's fascinating, you know, moving patients up and down. Like, so I've seen so many different aspects of a hospital that led me to when I finished uni and went to do my master's. It led me to like an opportunity to get my first management job in a hospital. So working in operations, and I did my uni part-time to be able to work that job, and I used that job to pay for my master's then, because I didn't want to take another loan. And 10 bags, painful. Don't know whether I'm using it or not. I don't know. Anyway, but it was done. I was happy I went on that journey, and I wouldn't change it. And then working there led me to really like one of my mentors, who was my manager at the time of that first management job. And till this day, like we're connected, we stay friends, like we talk a lot. And he even told me, like, you know, at the time there were 3 other candidates that were way more experienced, way more everything for this management job. But he said, like, he just saw something that he was just like, no, like I'm gonna take a chance on this young guy.
Sometimes God does, bro.
I was 23, like in my first management job in a hospital department, you know, under his guidance. Like, and it was just fascinating to me, and I was really thankful. And at the time, I was growing my hair because I was in that era. I wanted to grow my hair. And he even said to me, he said to me, if you don't, like, I'm not giving you that job if your hair's gonna be like that. Yeah, HR might flip. Yeah, he was like, you have to have short hair. I'm not giving you that job if you do the long hair. Well, I'll cut the hair. I said, no problem. I'll cut the hair. Done. Like,
you just took the sacrifice, just like that.
Took the sacrifice, bro. Hair's hair. It grows. So I took the job, and then by being in that role, really then unlocked me learning even more how hospital works, managing people, managing staff, like working with people. And really, and I always say this, like I learn a lot about a man or a person on the football pitch. Like I learn a lot about someone in terms of not just how they move, but how you talk to people.
Of course.
How you give instructions, how, you know, just how your own attitude. If you lose the ball, did you fight back? Did you run back? Like, so all those little things. And so when I was starting to work with people and in healthcare, and what was interesting about healthcare is there's a human element to it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not a customer. We deal with patients.
Correct.
So it's people who are not well. It's people who they're not choosing to be there.
They're there
because they have to be there because something's gone wrong in their life, wherever, right? And that's a fascinating experience, because you meet some really amazing people going through some really low times. And I still remember having conversations with some people that walked out of that hospital healthy, others who didn't and passed, you know? And I still remember some of those conversations I had with them. And I think just being in that, healthcare was never the plan. But just through that natural experience, I got exposed to this human element, working with people, helping people, that you could still make a really good, successful financial career out of as well. So it pays well. But it had that element where you came home and you knew you had an impact and you were fulfilled, right?
Love that.
And so because I got exposed to that, if something didn't give me that same feeling, I'm not like for me, it's different for others, but for me, that was an important tick box in my like soul. So I had to have that. So by doing that job, we did an amazing job. We had an inspection thing through the government, and you know, we did really well. It was a private hospital, and at the time then, when the CEO who I was working with, he got headhunted to move to Dubai and open King's College Hospital.
Right. And
so he then worked and had a small team of people that he wanted to work with on this project. And luckily I got a call for that project.
Amazing.
you know.
Drafted in.
He drafted in my mentor.
Yeah.
And then my mentor was like, I need this guy.
Draft pick.
I
Love
got
it.
lucky. And it's a blessing, right? And I have to obviously take a step back and say I was obviously doing certain things in a certain way that were valued. So I had
course.
to obviously like now I tell myself it wasn't just luck.
Of course.
You know, back then I was just like, oh, it's a blessing. I was lucky and
No, but it's a blessing because the opportunity presented.
Exactly.
But you have to walk in it.
That's it. And I struggle with that. So I'm trying to do that better. And yeah, so then I moved to Dubai, and then that just continued my journey from just getting a health job to pay through my way through uni
to now
now having opened hospitals, clinics, laboratories, worked on some really cool new tech, new advancements in healthcare and different projects from like genetic testing. In the UAE, there was a program on the Emirati genome program. So like I had, you know, aspects of that.
Yeah.
Working on things like stem cells, working on now for the last few years been really big in having opportunities to work with doctors and places on longevity, which is a huge growing space now.
Yeah.
You know, it's really fascinating, bro. I've been fasting since I was like 18. So like when now more and more things are coming out around like fasting, nutrition, health.
Correct.
It comes back to my number one role model, yeah? All these things that I'm seeing around longevity, my mum has been
doing it for years.
Since she was, I can't believe it. So now when I look back at all the things that my mum was doing in terms of like how she was protecting her gut health without even realizing it was her, like that's what she was doing. It was just her practices, not eating after 6, fasting, the certain foods, the fermented. Like, bro, there's a whole other conversation.
But this is what I'm saying.
That fascinating.
The places where we come from, the village, like I talk about Ghana and the villages, the way we eat, the way we work, the way like eating heavier in the morning than well, not in the morning, but earlier on in the day than nighttime, not eating breakfast. Like this whole, like all these myths that you get fed, and realizing that where we've come from have known these things for years and years and years, and we've been bamboozled into living this lifestyle, and all end up with
I'm sure you've seen it, Manny, like the 3 meals a day thing, the concept, the way, like, bro, one thing I always like, I'm not clinical, but I've been exposed to a lot of information, and like, I'm actually now taking a diploma to become a health coach. So I'm diving into the nutrition side, the body, the anatomy, how everything works. And I'm doing it through a naturopathic school of like medicine to take that on. But I've always been saying, if you want to learn about your health journey, look back 100, 200 years, firstly into your own culture first. Because that's what we all come from, a form of culture that has its forms of practices that they have been doing. First, learn where you come from and what they've been doing. Firstly, just figure that out first, because you're already sitting on so much wealth of knowledge just from your own culture that could help and guide you, because your grandparents and great-grandparents, they've been doing it. You know?
And they were doing it for survival, not for the aesthetic nature of how things are. They were doing it for survival.
And it was good for them. You know, and obviously things have changed, like the level of nutrition in the food is different, you know, process, like there's so many layers to it, and it can be overwhelming, of course, but it can also be very baseline. You know, and if you figure out your baseline basics, you can actually make it really, like you can really implement it part of your daily life. And even before we started, from stretching to starting your that day with protein, like, you know, like the basics, grounding, drinking water, fasting,
some sun,
intermittent fasting, vitamin D through sun, like basics. You do like. And sleeping 8 hours, 8-9 hours, like it goes.
That's why I fall short, to be fair.
And it's okay. A lot of people do, but like if you just get the basics, and a lot of the doctors I've worked with always say this to the patients, or just like chats that we have. But if you get those essential basics right, your nutrition, your exercise, and your sleep, bro, you're good. You don't need the bells and whistles of everything, you know. But anyway, that's a separate conversation.
We can get into that. We'll have to chop up a longevity pod.
But that's how that's the healthcare journey, bro. Like it's just
But even through that though, there's one thing that's remained consistent. That's football.
Yeah.
So even through the healthcare, even coming to Dubai, even opening up hospitals and all the nice bright lights and fanciful things, Street League is conceived.
Yeah, bro. I'm approaching 10 years in January.
Yeah.
The first thing I did when I landed in Dubai and got put up in a hotel for a month in Dira sides, first night, where can I kick ball? That was the first
I
thing.
did that before I came, actually.
Yeah, you're better than me. Like
Before I came.
first thing. And luckily I knew one or two people that had already lived in Dubai, and they had
Yeah.
suggested certain Facebook groups, and Meetup was
Yeah,
an app
Meetup,
back then. And so luckily, like, I got that exposure, but it was the first thing I did.
Yeah.
And because I did that, you've done that. I knew a lot of the other men that I've come across did that also.
Yeah.
And yeah, so amongst just focusing on career and football, I think I was learning the city. I was 24 when I moved here, so I was learning how things work. My first year was very low key, very focused on work, figuring really out like what Dubai was. Didn't drive, was taking metro, like, you know, like I really had that, like, I was just, yeah, I don't know, it's just my innocence was there just to this new experience, this new country, and I was just like, work football, sometime for gym, work football. And I think as the years went on and different jobs and different experiences in Dubai and networking, like I really, like after my first year in Dubai, I really sat on this journey where I said, like, I genuinely had this like conversation with myself. I said, I want to meet the city.
Yeah.
Like I want to set myself a goal. And I can't remember what I was reading or listening to at the time, but I genuinely set myself a goal that every time I would go out for anything on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
meet
or
someone new.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
back
back
then,
then,
yeah,
who
yeah.
knows that the weekend was different. I set myself a goal that I had to meet someone new,
Excellent.
one or two new people
Excellent.
every time I stepped out.
Excellent.
Like I genuinely set that as a goal. So then if I had to like force a convo or just tap someone and say, oh, like, hey, like, oh, like, where you from? Like, I did that.
Excellent.
Like I really just decided, let me unlock this and meet the city, because you never know who you're gonna meet, who you're standing next to, even when you play football. Like, and I can tell you some stories of who we have at Street League, which is mad.
We'll tap into that.
But and I say to some of the guys, like, oh, like, bro, like, you should, you know what he does? Do you know who that is? Like, you should connect with him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because, and I learned that at ball, like, sometimes you played with people, you had no idea what they were doing or what the network or opportunities and things that could come from it. So you had to always carry yourself in a certain way, pitch or no pitch, passion, like, but there's still a line you respected. And bro, it was always football. It was always football, and football helped me network, meet people in the city that then I've become friends with, still friends with now, who are thankfully even in the Street League setup. And I met them somewhere, and then they've come with me to this, like, to these ball sessions, which is dope.
What's Street League? For those that don't, I mean, I know what Street League is. I'm well invested into it. Right? I'm there. As you said, I've been there from ideation to where it is now. But what's Street League for those that don't know? Look,
Street League was never something I sat down and said, this is what it's gonna be. The way Street League was created was me, Bentley, and Ashley. That's people who know Bentley and Ashley, you know Ben and Ashley.
Yeah.
Group chat got created, and I still remember, I think scroll up, Bentley said, Yuri, you gotta run like a ball session. Like, like we're tired of so me, Bent, and Ash were playing a lot, and I, like, bro, I was so tired of going to sessions that wasn't good quality. You know, so Street League got created out of just a passion to want to create a high level football session. It was all about that night. I just went through my phone book and just added every single baller I knew.
Yeah.
And you were one of them.
I remember
boom,
getting the message.
Yes, boom, added into this group and saying, yo, there's going to be a new session weekly. We're just going to meet up weekly. It's ballers only. If someone can't play, don't bring them. Like, because I got sick and tired of, I was working a lot. Football's my outlet.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I do where I forget about everything.
Yeah.
It's the, bro, whatever's happening in the world, nothing comes into my mind in that moment of playing. And if it does, that's stressing me out. Like, that's my like threshold that, okay, I need to sort something out in my life because you're impacting my football time. That's like my gauge. And so I just got sick and tired of it. So by creating this session, Street League was eventually just born out of that, because this session, then we started playing weekly. Like players would bring people in 7-on-7. We were struggling,
Outgrew that, got some more.
you know, like, and then
Yeah.
it grew and grew, and then, you know, and like it was just that, and then more people heard about. Oh, I heard there's this session of ballers, like, because I started posting a little bits in here. Not a social media person. I'm
Yeah.
not great at it, but I just started doing bits and bits, and more people started reaching out and wanting to play. And
But also when you see the level of ballers that were turning up week in, week out, like I used to go home after a Street League session and just wait for the footage, because I just wanted to see what, like, I'd experienced it already,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to watch it back.
Yeah.
Because when you see the level of ball that was being played, that still is being played, like, it's tough to be a spectator on the outside and feel like, I don't want to be part of that. Just to grace the pitch once or twice, right? It's just like, those sessions are serious.
They are, and that's the thing. Like, and some people don't know it, some people do know it. I've had people who I've met say, "Oh yeah, I heard you lot sessions are serious. Like, I'm not ready for that. Like, yeah, you lot are too good." I secretly love that. Like, I love that it's created that perception,
Yeah.
because secretly I kind of wanted it to create that perception, because if you're not a baller and you don't love football and that ball the way we do, and you can play at that level, and you don't already obviously play pro and whatever that limits you from playing that, this is where you should be playing. Because you could go to other sessions and you could play with your friends and stuff, or colleagues and what. That's cool. Like, I'm not saying don't do that. But if you want to still test yourself, your performance, where are you at, and still get that kick out of a session
Yeah.
to remind you, for me, is when I was a kid and playing with my friends and
feeling.
stuff, that feeling
Yeah.
of the bus back
That
and
feeling.
the bands after, just chopping it up with your friends. And now as men, those chop ups are even more powerful, because people are asking each other about work, family, their kids, like, oh, struggles, what's going on? I've seen people get jobs through networking at Street League, getting
Yeah.
contracts and businesses through
Yeah.
who they've met at Street League. I've seen people, bro, I've had messages of someone saying to me, like, bro, I lost my job. So I've pinged their CV around the community, and some people, bro, then a few weeks, months later,
Send them
they
my
send me
number,
a
yeah.
message saying, Yuri, thank you. Like, I ended up getting a job.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll be very honest. I didn't want to leave Dubai because I want to still kick ball at SL. So,
Yeah.
like, I again, like, there's no, that's the power of community and trying to bring people together when they have that
Yeah.
openness to help each other, especially
I
as
think
men.
I think that's the bit that I love the most. And there's been periods, even now, there's been a period of time when I haven't attended Street League for my own reasons. But I think beyond that, but even then, when I bump into people from Street League, bro, the love is bountiful, bro. Like, it's like I bump into Fraser or Curtis, or like, and it's just like, we've been, and that's the thing that I enjoy the most. As somebody who, unlike most people, I'm a lot more cognizant on mental health. I'm very, very, very cognizant on mental health because of my own battles that I've been through, but because of battles that I've worked through. And I've also, like, I coach men, and I know how hard it can be for people, right? And through that, to have a space where, yeah, you can do something that gives you that euphoric feeling that you had growing up and so on and so forth. But the chats that you have, when it's all said and done, everyone's taken off their boots and you're bantering and chatting, and the brotherhood that's created there is so, like, you don't realize how impactful that is for someone to be part of a tribe, to feel like these are my people, to feel like I can be holistically myself amongst these people. Like, no one, and that's one thing I know for sure. Like, we'll bands and we talk the most amount of, excuse my French, but the most amount of shit sometimes, even at Street League. But then you'd come together at the end of a session, and I feel no way telling someone, no, I'm going through this. Like, I've been going through X, Y, Z, and they hold space for me. And you don't get that often amongst men in many places, to be able to have a place where you can say, okay, cool, I'll come, I'll do the whole macho bravado thing and show you my skills and my flip flapping around the worlds, and then at the end of the day, still be able to tell you, listen, actually, I'm not okay, you know. And someone's gonna hold space for you, and sometimes they'll give you, I can help you out. Sometimes they just hold space, and that's enough. And I think that's what street league for me. That's the power in what street league is. And of course, there are ballers. And you said you want a certain level of ballers, but I think the thing that I love about it now is it's become so popular that there are so many different sessions for so many different levels of baller. So you might think yourself to be a baller. You might not be playing with the Kev Stewarts and the Revel Morrisons or the Ryan Babbles of this world, but you can go into a setup within Street League where you can still ball out and still come away thinking you're a baller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Like, you know, just as you were saying that, Manny, like I have to say, like, none of this would be possible without like a lot of people that did the groundwork in Dubai for expats, football, and just bringing football together, you know. And I was actually on a call to Copper 90. They contacted me because they wanted to know more about the culture of football in like Middle East and Dubai specifically. And one of the things I explained to them was a lot of Dubai has its almost cliques of football, right? Certain nationality groups play together, whatever. But one thing we're trying to do is just bring ballers. And so one of the things that I'm most proud of is the diversity of players that come to kick ball within the sessions. And also what I think I just have to say it is because you know him, Sonny. Like they've created one of the best facilities like at Precision Football. Like, and so when Sonny gave me a message and say, yo, like bring some, look, we've opening this facility, like bring some of the boys down, like get some sessions going, book the pit. I thought, like at the time it was just like I just wanted to help him out because he was opening this amazing facility. And when I first walked in, I was like, wow, if only I was young coming into this facility to play. And so walking into that facility and being so like welcomed and supported by them, and them seeing like this amazing like communities that's grown just naturally like in their space. Bro, like that relationship has been so amazing to grow it, right? And if you've played at that facility,
it's awesome.
What you have access to, it's crazy.
But Sonny's one of the lads though, man. Like, he's one of the mandem. Like let's be straight up. He's one of us. He's grown up through us. And for those that don't know, Yuri's in reference to Sonny Cobbs, who's the founder and owner of Precision Football in Dubai. But Sonny is us. He's one of us. You remember when he used to come and ball out with us? He's one of us. So he understands what we're trying to build.
And so then just going back into that, like when a lot of people started to reach out because they wanted to come to the ball sessions, this was one of the hardest parts because like what I didn't want, and I'm thankful a lot of people understand it now, but at the time it was a hard conversation and to figure out how to word it. But I couldn't just flood it, like, because then it would become like other setups, which there's nothing wrong with that because they have their model, which is cool. Like it just didn't fit to appeasing what I needed as a footballer.
I hear that.
And so I had to think about it in a different route. And so because so many people are reaching out, we started a different session, which really grew. And even in that session, I said to myself, okay, like there has to be a standard of good ball.
I remember.
It's not good. There's going to be elements where someone's not the best, right? But you had to have one of a certain few attributes. You had to either have the physicality or fitness, the tech, or the IQ. Like you had to have one of the three. If you've got all three, then you're there.
Elite.
But you had to have at least
But if you have all three, you wouldn't be in that second session.
Because we'd notice you, we can see that, and then you'd get bumped up, right? But and that's how the system works. And it grew over time. But obviously now what I consider is you've got like that League One session, which is the ballers, and I categorize that as invite only, which has always been from the first day.
Makes
so
sense.
if you're a baller, you get invited to that. And even till this day, to get into that group, and I have to explain this to people, is when you don't just get added in.
No.
You come in on a trial, you play with the players, and then I ask some of the players whether you get added in.
They vote you in,
Because for me, it's not just about being a baller. It's also your presence, attitude, personality, and how do you gel with the boys? Because we have such an amazing group of boys. we wouldn't want someone to come in and mess that up and ruin that. And it's gone through a period where it had its little
had
ups and
moments, yeah.
downs and like arguments and
moments.
stuff. And you saw that then transpire on the pitch and stuff. But that's the beautiful part of football. And even clubs go through it. And we're seeing that with us men. Like, and then
But it's healthy.
yeah,
It's
and
healthy.
it is healthy. You need the outlet. And then the community grew. And then because the community grew so much, it was like, okay, we can put on multiple sessions. So why not? If people want to play, can I facilitate that? Okay, it was possible, but why not? Like, let's just facilitate it. So it wasn't even about growing this, thinking about it as a community and growing this football thing. It was just, guys want to play. I'm good at organizing because of the work I've done in healthcare from ops and project management and stuff. So I'm just like, I can just apply these skills and facilitate this. And it just grew and grew. And then I saw in the community level players that were higher standard, but not League One yet.
I hear that.
So it created this League Two concept. So now we have 3 tiers: League One, League Two, League and Community. And so now as new ballers join, I always just explain that to them. This is the process. And then that way it creates different level sessions for different people. So if you're looking for something, it's there.
And it gives people something to work towards as well. If you're a baller and you have one of those 3 things, but yet maybe fitness is not there, maybe physicality is not there, it gives you something to aspire to. Like, you look at that invite. I mean, that for me, by chance or by circumstance, I got invited to that first one. But even then, you explained to me that the boys have to accept that you're coming in. But for me, it was a thing of, okay, cool. Because of the way my mind is,
you're competitive.
That's the only place I want to play. I don't want to be in a League One. That's the only place I want to play. So in my mind, it's just like, okay, cool. Like, I'll show you then, innit? I remember there was a conversation that was had actually. There was I forgot his name, Sam.
Okay.
There's a keeper that came one time.
Okay, yeah.
Who could just, his feet.
Distribution was crazy. Yeah. I remember Sam.
And I remember, I think it was Lawrence that said to me, he was like, he could do bits. I'm like, yeah, but I could do that. That was the conversation I had with myself. Yeah, but I could do that. Like, I hadn't even seen him. So it was a thing. The next Wednesday, I had to be there. And I see my man I'm like, yeah, but I can do that. So I did it.
Yeah.
And I was picking, and it was, in my mind, it was just like, okay, cool.
It unlocks that competitiveness in you at still this age that you know you can still ball 100%. And you still want to ball. And this is the thing, like, everyone has their own passion for a sport. Ours is football.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily, like, if you didn't make it or you didn't get a career or whatever in football, that's cool. We've all seen and come across different journeys that people have gone into, whether it's coaching or other work or fell out of love of football because of their experience. There's so many stories out there, and there's not enough time in the world because too many people touch on it. Like, there's so many. But what I've learned that I want to now create and work on creating is, I want to create an environment where it brings out all those natures of competitiveness, growth, excelling in something while you're still at an age that you can, and still giving you as many highlight, amazing star moments within this setup, so that you can look back and be like, when I kicked ball, it was in this setup, street that, and it just became, it was cold. And here's some videos, and here's my mic up, and here's this. And like, even the other week when one of the players, his name's Nani, I was just coincidentally recording, and he just got the ball in the middle, took a touch out, across, slapped it, top bins across the keeper. It's coincidentally just that I captured that moment. He's got that moment, and what a goal. But I just want to create memories for people. And I think this is where it taps back into that soulfulness and healthcare. I just want to bring that and create that feeling for as many of the players as possible. I just want to be a facilitator to help people unlock and have beautiful, fun, amazing memories, and unlock new friendships and network using football the way I did it.
I see that.
And I just want to give that to as many people at a certain level of ball. So even when I play, I'm still saying to players who are adult players, bro, like, turn there, basics, 2 touch. And even as we get older, we get more set in our ways, but we can still learn.
Absolutely.
And even just when you give those small bits of instructions, the game changes, because
see a
just by
different
small
picture.
instructions,
Yeah.
I will never forget how I met Derek, bestie. First time trained with him on a weekend, and first time I met him, didn't know him. Like, obviously, we've both been in the city, never crossed paths before, and I knew me and Derek would be friends because when we got into a game situation, I was in front of him as a CDM. He was a centre back, and he said, 2 yards to your left. Just take a step
Just
for
that
me
bit of
forward.
information,
Oh,
yeah.
you can just shift to he's on your right shoulder.
Yeah.
From that moment, I didn't really even need to see how he played.
You knew he's got your
The fact
back.
that he gave me those bits of instructions,
Yeah, he's got you.
I already knew this guy's played.
He's got you.
You know, and that just transformed and translated to
Yeah.
the working friendship and really good relationship that we have till this day. You know, and that's just that's one that stands out for me, that I meet or have met people on
like
the
that.
pitch in a single moment, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I understand you. So,
But I think that
powerful.
that environment that you've created is testament to why you have attended an SL. Some people who have played at the highest level.
Wow.
Like, I've witnessed people who have, like, you're talking at the epitome even of football, like people that play for their countries, who still play for their countries, people who like have been in arenas and stadiums that most dream of.
And I'm
and
trying to
they
get
turn
more.
up.
So, like, I'm
And they
trying to
turn
get
up.
more.
I think the one that did it for me one time was, and I wasn't at that session, I was gutted. I was AJ.
Yeah.
A few days after his fight in the Saudi.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah. Him and his team came, we just set up a social booking for him. So one of the boys that was looking after AJ, good friends with him when he was in the city, he just called me and said, look, him and his camp want to play. And so we just set up a session so that them not can play. But he came down to the facility, took photos of the staff and stuff. Like, personally, people who know me, I don't engulf myself in that. So, like, if a celeb or someone of a certain status comes through, I'm just making sure, because of the work I've done, and I've seen so many
everything's
VIPs
organized
in
and
the
ticking over.
healthcare side. I've seen people of certain status also come into healthcare because of, and they don't want to obviously be there because they're not well. I've always been part of the team that just makes sure everything works smoothly. I didn't ever really see myself or want to be the one that, like, in front of them. And I've actually just carried that into ball. So even like the other week when Cole Palmer came through with some of his friends.
Yeah, I see that.
Even that, like, personally,
I didn't see you in any of the.
I just left him
clips,
to it. It was only at the end when I was passing by and he was with the good friend of mine that he came along with. He just said, "Oh, by the way, Cole, this is Yuri. He organizes this." I said, "Oh, what's good, bro? Like, I hope you enjoyed that." Just little fist bump, and I just kept it stepping personally, just because people, like, they get exposed to so much attention and energy.
Yeah, they don't need it.
Already.
They need to be at peace.
You know, like, if we're gonna cross paths again, we'll cross paths again where we get quality time to actually be chopping up. Because in that single moment, I'm just another new face to you. And so I just really approach it like that. Like, so even when AJ came or like other people came, I just want them to have a really good experience and just feel like they're just seen as a normal person amongst
Which is what they want,
amongst
really,
the
isn't
boys,
it?
amongst the mandem, right? And that's it, right? Because they're performing at such a high level that they're so constantly exposed to the media or people or fans and stuff. I just want you to love this sport again, like you did,
like you've always
before
done.
all of this. And so, like, when Ryan Barble first came and one of the boys who played paddle with him brought him through and stuff, bro, like, I used to use Ryan on FIFA.
Listen.
You know what I mean? Like, and bro, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He's so cool. Like, we always chop it up. Like, he'll always, like, give feedback and advice and just talk life. And he's done so amazing for himself. And he's just such a stand-up nice guy. But bro, like, when he comes ball, I sit there and be like, bro, I used to watch you on TV, and now you're hitting man with assists. So the other week when we played, like Ryan's one person, when we kick ball, I just understand how he kicks ball. Like, you just get it. Even though he's played like we just get it.
Yeah.
So the way we play and bro, there was one little thing that happened. He just set man up for the goal. And I'm thinking, rah, like, even at this age,
Yeah.
like, bro, like Ryan Barber just assisted me
Yeah.
for the goal. And obviously, I'm not
It's
a
a big
Liverpool
move.
fan, but from friends
But
and
he's
people that
Ryan
are
Barber, it don't
Liverpool
matter.
fans, they
It's a
like,
big
bro,
move.
he's a big player. Like,
Yeah.
he's so plugged in and stuff. Like, so, bro, like, just even playing with Ravel, playing with Kev, like, bro, like, when you just having that is a blessing in itself, because not everyone gets
Can
that
get that
opportunity.
opportunity, absolutely.
So I'm super thankful that they
Absolutely.
feel they feel the
Welcome.
love, they feel the welcome,
Yeah.
they've enjoyed the setup with the boys, and that they just enjoying football again. I
Yeah.
just want them to enjoy football.
Beautiful.
So it's a blessing, and I hope more will jump in and play.
So what's next? What's next in the evolution of Yuri? What's next in the evolution
Oh.
of Street League? What's up
Don't
and
know,
coming?
figuring it out. That it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's not a destination. Look, like I'm trying to unlock and grow myself. Like, so I'm really really focused on my health and fitness this year, like that, and my mindset, my mental health. Like, I'm really locked into that and balancing that around work.
I hear that.
I'm doing a diploma in health coaching because I want to unlock that side of things and bridge that gap between the healthcare work that I've done and this amazing access to athletes and high performing individuals, and see if there's something else I can work with people. Because I think I'm starting to get to that age where I have a story. I've done things that are proven. Maybe there's someone who needs to hear that,
Yeah.
or I can help someone along their journey.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in their early 20s or even in their 30s, or older. So everyone needs that support. Maybe they can connect with me to help them.
Beautiful.
It's a way of giving. Street League now is, bro, it's just focusing on making sure the community sticks to its core and the essence, and that always is unchanged. Growing the 11-a-side football team and that competitiveness, and we won the cup last year, and we want to do well this year again, and just growing its profile. And and then like the Filthy Fellas boys were down, so we're looking like there's going to be a collab tournament that's going to be coming through, and
Beautiful.
we're having them visit and that exposure, and just I think we have something beautiful, and if you know it, you appreciate it, and I just want more people to know what it is. And it's not and I've had people come to me because they're like, oh, like, can I promote my company here and da da da. I say no, because I just want the guys to come in and enjoy football.
Correct.
Just enjoy football. And I
Correct.
just want to facilitate that. And a lot of people don't understand that, because there's other communities and clubs and stuff that do a lot of different events and things, which is cool, and they expose other businesses. But at the end of the day, the boys are the boys, the man them are the man them, and they're just turning up because they want to kick
wanna
ball,
ball.
and we're not trying to
wanna ball.
flash a
Yeah.
bunch of different stuff in front of them. So it's just about sticking to the core, the culture, the essence,
Fantastic.
bringing that essence
Fantastic.
together, and just sticking to that mission, man.
Well, if you won't do it, I want you to do it. And this is part of the segment that I'm really trying to push with. This is there's two parts that end up every podcast. The first is for you to look into that camera, that one there,
Cool.
and tell people exactly what Street League is and why they need to look into it and understand. And if they're in Dubai, why they need to come and check us out.
Cool. Listen, Street League is a community of ballers for ballers, footballers for footballers. If you're not a baller and you're not playing at Street League, I don't know. We don't know you. So that's becoming the line. Look, if you're in Dubai and you're a baller and you want to test yourself, meet a new group of players who also take ball to a performance level seriously, like, we're, come and check us out.
I can vouch for that.
We're trying to create a professional environment for non-professional players, so that starts with our 11-a-side team having coaching staff, physio, strength and conditioning, goalkeeping coach now even, so we've got that in the team, and these are people that love the project and just want to be involved in it, to a community of ballers that are all in all different types of sectors of work, that not can you just network with, but you can kick ball with them. A lot of the boys, for example, I'm going to shout out DJ Dom Bryan. A lot of boys don't know how good or how big he is in the DJ scene. So when, was it Time Out released the list of Scotty B as well, a lot of these boys didn't realize that they're kicking ball with two of the best DJs in the city that are also known in the UK.
From back home.
So like, it's just dope. And you have people working in different sectors that you can connect with. But at the end of the day, it's ballers for ballers. So if you're a baller, can't come through and play.
Yeah, I think the bit I want to add to that is for those of you that are aspiring ballers, right? Don't think it's just community. Like, Street League has opened the doors for people to break through into the pro scene, and
Yeah.
that is facts. So for those that are aspiring and you really want to push yourself and be in an environment where there are people that have been at the pinnacle, get down to Street League.
You know what's crazy? Didn't even touch on any of those stories
Yeah.
where we've helped players get trials and stuff. Some have been signed.
Yeah.
And I've had more and more young players hit me up and say, hey, can I come along? And actually just want to say, I've had players 14, 15, 16, 17 come through and play. And I always say to them, as long as your coach and your parents are good and they understand that you're going to come in and play with men, I think that's very healthy for a young player's development to be playing with older players, because that's what I did.
It's important.
I played with older players, and that made me more conscious of the ball I played, physical, and the things that I did. So if you're a young player, you're more than welcome to. We just want to make sure that you're prepped and ready for it, and you know the environment you're stepping into. And that is it.
And the last two questions from me before we round things up. So the first is, if there was anybody you think the people will benefit from hearing from to be on Mental Notes podcast, who would it be?
Oh,
who should we be reaching out to?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Alan. His name is Alan. Alan has started a performance coaching brand called Purvis. I believe that's how you say it.
Okay. Alan
has an amazing story. Similar to us dropping a documentary, he's also dropped a documentary about his journey and why he started it. I learn a lot from Alan.
Excellent.
He doesn't even know this, so when he hears this, it's going to be the first time he's a good friend, and I learn a lot from Alan. Even though he's younger than me, he's focused on faith, foundations, performance, his journey of his recovery from a surgery to what he's trying to create and help men with.
Right.
It's powerful. I love it.
Let's get Alan on here, man.
Get Alan
Let's
on.
get Alan
We're going to be doing something actually this weekend together. Alan is dope. He's a good, amazing human being. He's got a lot to offer. You should.
We'll get Alan on here. We'll get Alan on here. And then finally, just ending on a lighter note, 3 songs that best describe Yuri.
Oh, okay. Oh, bro, love this question. Division, The Line.
Okay.
I'm a R&B like romantic, bro. So Division, The Line. If you don't know that song, you just gotta hear it word for word. That's me. I love my old school R&B, so you'll see me singing along to things like Fantasia.
Okay.
And If I Ever.
Okay.
If I Ever, right?
Okay.
Like, bro, they're there. Like if I'm in the car solo,
yeah, top of the lungs, you love that.
Yeah. And then I love my I loved growing up on like lyrical storytelling, hip hop. So like the likes of like J. Cole, and some people don't know this guy. It's called Kota the Friend.
Okay.
You should check him out. I like J. Cole is very dope and people know him, but Kota the Friend, you should listen to a song called The Memo. Okay. It's a memo to himself, and Kota the Friend is a new kind of class of rapper, but he touches a lot into mental health and upbringing his son. Beautiful. And he does podcasts with his son. He's written like books. He does a lot of like talks on men's mental health. But he's got an amazing portfolio of
body
songs.
of work,
But one I was listening to the other day was The Memo, and it just stood out for me. So check it out, and I think it falls in line with obviously the brand and the mental health side that men go through. He's got an amazing story. So as an artist, to see that transpire into his music, I think it's dope. So I
definitely
like
check him out. Definitely check him out. Yuri, listen.
Love, bro.
Thank you for coming and sharing a little bit of your story. I know it's not a story that's been out there much. Yeah. But I'm so glad that we can get you to share it, because it's got real depth, man. It's got real depth, and I think people need to actually understand what makes a man, and what brings a man to being at this point in his life, and all the decisions and all the things that have come before. Because people might just see you and be disillusioned by whatever their own perception of you is, without actually understanding what drives you. And I think you telling us your story, from diversity to strength to now building communities for people to also come out of whatever whatever situation they're in, even just to come and just offset and equilibralize, or if that's a word, but find their equilibrium. So thank you for making it onto Mental Notes. And
Thank you for having me, man. It's been dope.
It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
just nice to just talk about it in such a natural environment, and obviously you've made that easy, bro. So
Been a pleasure.
so
Thank
yeah,
you, man.
thank you, bro.